Children's Services of Roxbury is providing extraordinary services in the Roxbury community. It has its roots going all the way back to Boston Children's Services and to Roxbury Children's Services. That's part of its foundation. The good news is you're doing this video so people understand that there's a history. I was very interested in a profession that had a commitment to social change.
I was brought up as the rabbi's daughter in Cleveland, Ohio, and was always a part of knowing social work as the way to live and be.
We all worked together. We all had the same mission for the community, to ensure that families in Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan receive the highest quality of services possible, and that families could be strengthened through the work that we were doing.
My basic passion was making a difference to children and their families. That's what you have to do. You can't let anybody get in the way of you doing what you came there to do.
By the time I got out of college, I was very clear that I wanted to be a leader. One of the things that pushed me in that direction was a course I had with Dr. Kenneth Clark, the great black psychologist, who was at that time heading the social science team in Brown versus the Board of Education. I saw a scholar who was using his expertise and knowledge to advance public policy and social change. And so I came out of college with this commitment that at some point in my life I wanted to be a leader, I wanted to make a difference, I wanted to lead a purpose-driven life, and I thought social work was the route. Boston Children's Service was a spectacular child welfare agency. They had an incredible group of group workers, and I thought this would be a great way to really learn how to be a terrific group worker.
Roxbury Multi-Service Center started, so Boston Redevelopment told me about it, and I decided that's for me. And there I met Barbara. We worked together there for 3 years. Boston Children's Service came to me and said, how would you like to work for Boston Children's Service and do exactly what you're doing here with a multi-service center with the court and set up that kind of a program for us? And I said I would like to.
Everybody over there, get on up, everybody right there, get into it. Everybody over here, get involved, get involved, get involved. Come on with your little come on. Everybody over there.
We were in the middle of a social revolution, a civil rights revolution. Things were happening in Roxbury.
It was during that time that we had desegregation, and all the black children suddenly we had to go to South Boston, and the South Boston children, the Irish children, had to come to Roxbury, and Louise Day Hicks was there, and we had what you call a lot of trouble.
Everybody over there, get on up. Back down
The idea of Roxbury Boston Children's Services establishing a site in Roxbury came up. And of course I advocated for it. I said, yeah, this is the thing to do. There's a whole lot of good reasons why having services more accessible to the black community in the community.
They saw the need. Things were getting really, really hot, or had been really hot in Roxbury. People were really, really angry in the community. And some of the kinds of problems they were experiencing, I think, came from that era that we had just gone through.
This led to me going with Sherman Morse, who was a leader on the board at Boston Children's Services, to look for a site in Roxbury. Well, we found a site on Elm Hill Avenue. We got the organization to buy the building and then begin to hire a staff and deliver services in the community. And I thought it was a great thing to do.
So I landed at Roxbury Children's Services, and we were placed in a trailer, and I went, oh my God, leaving a beautiful office downtown Beacon Hill and going to a trailer? Well, I was fit to be tired. I was like, oh no. But I really liked being out there because I was with the community. I didn't have to take but one bus instead of a bus and a train and a bus to get to Boston Children's Services.
alone time coming, but I know change gonna come.
This was going to be a very diverse organization. We had come from an organization with excellent and high standards. We weren't going to, if anything, we were going to have higher standards because we were going to be looked at more strenuously.
Placing that agency in the community to begin to address those issues, I think, really was the real crux of why Roxbury Children's Services was such an important agency at the time that it was in the community. Freedom House, Roxbury Children's Services, Roxbury Multi-Services, Lena Park Community Development Corporation. Those were 4 of the prime agencies in the community during that time. And Roxbury Children's Services moving to the community added more resources that focused specifically on children and families. Other agencies focused on the family, but we really had an emphasis on children.
We started with different components of the social work department. They consisted of project prevention, which was the work with the juvenile court. Then we had Project Elm Hill, which was work with single parents and unwed mothers, and that we called them unwed mothers in those days. Then we had Project Care, which was neglect and abuse. We had daycare facilities as well. This is including local families, black and white.
One of our major accomplishments was within that year, we were able to get a provisional license so that we could place children in homes. Foster care is really important. However, we also did the adoption. So when we started, we had basically 3 services. We ended with about 11 major services.
The black community didn't have to come to Boston to get it. They only had to go to Elm Hill Avenue. And we went to them. And it was really the community and all of its parts that I really feel was a big help.
One of the major challenges that we had, particularly when we were doing adoption, was that everybody thought, you're in the black community now, we can just come and get a child. Well, no, that's not working. We had many, many challenging cases, and we spent a lot of money. We had a lot of challenges because we had a legal services line item in our budget. We never lost a case in behalf of a child, and that's what I think about often, never.
I think the philosophy was helping people to help themselves, strengthening families by using the assets that already exist in many families. So we utilized the assets. We helped families to help themselves by building on assets. And it was always about strengthening the family unit. And I think that's what Roxbury Children's Services, Boston Children's Services, and currently Children's Services of Roxbury, their philosophy is to strengthen families using assets of the family.
The impact that Roxbury Children's Service had in the Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan community was profound. It was profound because not only did we do the service, we worked with the communities. We were involved. They knew who we were. We committed and acted on the mission of the organization, and that is to improve the quality of life for children and families. And we did that. That was foremost what we did.